Season 2 for Rutgers starts by hosting UNLV, and the freshman running back Cody James notches the first Knights score of the season. But for the running Rebels, it's the delay to Jacoby Derville, and he scampers all the way into the end zone from 16 yards out. Near half, Rebels go for James and leave Wimsatt open on the option for 6. Fourth quarter, it's 17-10 Rutgers, and Wimsatt finds Monopoly man Jones, who turns it upfield for a gain of 35. On 2nd and 1, it's Professor Grabass on the catch, and nice shifty running inside the 10. Wimsatt rolls right and throws back to the middle of the end zone to Teddy Snaggs for a 7-yard touchdown strike. But UNLV wasn't going anywhere, as Harrison Bailey finds Jackson Morris, who gets a really nice run after the catch, all the way in for 6, and the game was back to 1 score. But Wimsatt would find Monopoly man Jones deep in the red zone, setting up Cody James for his second rushing touchdown of the game, and that proved to be enough for a 31-24 win to open the season. Next, it was a road game at number 21 BYU. Gavin Wimsatt with a deep throw right in the breadbasket of Professor Grabass. That led to a 4th and inches where Wimsatt just bowled over the defenders for a 3-yard touchdown run. Wimsatt on a 2nd and 7 finds Cody James, who takes it inside the 5-yard line, and on 2nd and goal, it's a roll right and a short toss to Monopoly man Jones for the tutty. Another roll right in the second quarter gets Teddy Snaggs open for a huge play. That would end up leading to Cody James on a dominating 13-yard touchdown run. BYU had no chance with their quarterback making mistakes like this. Huge interception by Shaquan Loyal. 3rd and 3, and Wimsatt would rope a ball right into the hands of Monopoly man for another touchdown hookup. Sir Panda and the defense was making sure that Conover and BYU had zero chance, as Rutgers wins this one 35-17 behind Gavin Wimsatt, Cody James, Monopoly man Jones, and Teddy Snaggs. Next up was a rematch of our bowl loss against Arkansas. Pig Suey got it going early with Raheem Sanders on a rushing score. But Wimsatt found Monopoly man Jones deep into Arkansas territory, which set up this strike to Don Munnerlin to tie the ball game. Arkansas QB Malik Hornsby took off running with no one near him, but as soon as he got touched by the ball, was on the ground for a turnover. Unfortunately, Wimsatt would give it right back as Avant was right there to intercept an underthrown pass. That led to Hornsby taking it in himself for 6 from 4 yards away. Gavin Wimsatt with a left roll found Professor Grabass, who snuck into the end zone. Crazy play for the tie. Arkansas went for the fake punt, which was nowhere close, and Rutgers tried taking advantage, but Wimsatt coughed the ball up. And in the third quarter, it's Raheem Sanders working more of his magic for a short touchdown. Rutgers could not pick up a 4th and 1 with Cody James. He got stuffed. 0 blocking, and Arkansas would capitalize with Raheem Sanders and another score. Wimsatt was able to find an open Cody James later in the ball game, and then threw Grabass open in the end zone. What a throw to make it a game. But when they really needed to convert on 4th and 5, Wimsatt threw the ball short of the sticks, and Woo Pig Suey was able to kneel and win it. No revenge here. Next was the first conference game in Nebraska, and a handoff to Jacques Vant just had him bobbing and weaving all the way to the end zone. What a run. Wimsatt was on the bench, and Alassana Ray was turning it over on downs. Later in the third quarter, though, he was running it hard up the right sideline, and then off the read option, it was Cody James to take a lead for the Scarlet Knights. Monongai got an easy 5-yard run for 6 points, and then the emergency tight end at quarterback throws one to Monopoly man Jones for his first career touchdown pass. After that, Nebraska gets a really nice touchdown. They would attempt and fail at an onside kick. Alassana Ray added insult to injury with another touchdown pass to Monopoly man Jones, as Cody James comes away with player of the game in the dub. Illinois came into play in Piscataway next, and Gavin Wimsatt and Professor Grabass would hook up early for the touchdown. And then Sir Panda was picking and slicking all the way back to the Casa for the early 2-score lead. Before halftime, Gavin Wimsatt had a yeet wide open, but it fell to the ground, a miss by him. Fear not, though, because Monongai with a score to start off the second half. And then Wimsatt finding Teddy Snaggs for yet another score later, as Snaggs would end with player of the game in a 42-14 drubbing of the Illini. Purdue would be the next victim at Shea Stadium, and Wimsatt had a wide-open Monopoly Man Jones for the first drive touchdown. Wimsatt later was only up 1 point when he found Rashad Rochelle wide open deep before half for a touchdown. And in the second half, why not another one as Cody James burst into the end zone on a Gavin Wimsatt pass. But Purdue was alive after Allen took a nasty hit but still found Abdurrahman Yassin for a crazy 6 points. Wimsatt then rolled it right and yeeted it out to Monopoly Man Jones, who would come down with it and roll into the end zone for a 72-yard touchdown. Later, Cody James added yet another score to nab player of the game with over 250 total yards from scrimmage as Rutgers won it 48-26. Into the hell stretch as number 13 Michigan would come to New Jersey next. It didn't figure to be easy as the last couple of wins, and it wasn't, as J.J. McCarthy gave it to Donovan Edwards, who would go to knock a defender out and just take it all the way to the house. Killer play early on. But Wimsatt, the offense, went downfield and got 6 points of their own with the strike to Monopoly Man Jones. McCarthy running right and hurdling a knockdown defender, and he ended up rolling all the way into the Knights' red zone. Then it's McCarthy again with a 3-yard touchdown run off of a read option. Later, Cody James would split the middle to pay dirt for the tie ball game. And then it's a 3-point Rutgers lead and Teddy Snaggs making a snag in the right corner of the end zone for yet another touchdown. Wimsatt off the read option would extend that lead to 14 points, which is where the score would stay. Rutgers wins 31-17 in an upset fashion. The schedule stood tough, though, with the whiteout game in Happy Valley at number 3 Penn State. The first tutty goes to Kyle Monangai. Later, it's a 4th and 1 carry for Cody James, who extends the lead to 14, get the wheelbarrow out. Gavin Wimsatt adds a dime of a throw to Victor Konopka, and he was feeling himself all day, with another tutty pass later to Teddy Snaggs. And then, why not a rolling one to Monopoly Man Jones? He would finish with 6 of them puppies in a 67-13 rout of the number 3 team in the nation. Wow. Rutgers ended up ranked number 22 and going into a game at the Shoe against the top-ranked Buckeyes. Travion Henderson was breaking records early on a short touchdown run. And then late in the third, Rutgers gets a short touchdown from Monangai, just one chance, as C.J. Stroud launches to Kenyon Chisholm for a huge touchdown to have the Scarlet Knights and their fans go home heartbroken with a 17-10 defeat. Rutgers would actually go up to number 21 in the rankings, hosting Indiana at home. Gavin Wimsatt took it himself from 13 yards out to start the scoring train. Later, up 14-3, he finds Professor Grabass for a nice strike. In the second half, they hooked up for a shorter score to bring the lead to 25 points, and Pierce, pressing for Indiana, would throw a horrid interception that would give Wimsatt the opportunity for a 36-yard bomb right into the hands of Teddy Snaggs, as it was another big day for Gavin Wimsatt en route to a 49-10 blowout win over the Hoosiers. The next and final visitor of the season would be the 1-10 Maryland Terrapins. The 15th-ranked Scarlet Knights were bombing it all over the place, starting with this 59-yard strike to Teddy Snaggs for the first score. Next was a curl to Snaggs that he took himself for a 23-yard touchdown, bowling over defenders. Then Wimsatt threatened to run, but he found Monopoly Man Jones. And in the fourth quarter, he did take it himself, as he would finish the game with 5 total tutties in a 56-10 blowout win. The final game of the season had the number 14 Knights at Michigan State, and though they were only 4-7, they put up a heck of a fight. After watching Cody James waltz into the end zone, it was tight end Malik Carr taking a pass from Kattenhauser for 6 points, forcing Wimsatt to then find Professor Grabass from 6 yards out to grab the lead back. Then Hauser would go deep to Terry Lockett Jr. in the back of the end zone, and we had a shootout on our hands. Before the half, Hauser went to Keon Coleman to give Sparty a lead on a 28-yard touchdown toss. But it wasn't safe, as Gavin Wimsatt launched one to Grabass with less than 20 seconds left in the half to grab that lead right back going into the tunnel. In the second half, Hauser would find the kid of Antonio Gates for 6 points and a lead again. But this back and forth cat and mouse kept going, as Rochelle took a deep pass inside the 5-yard line, and then Wimsatt would flee the pocket for the easy rushing touchdown. With the 3-point lead, it was Monopoly Man Jones on a 45-yard catch and run that had Wimsatt breaking Mike Teal's Rutgers yardage record. And why not run it up to Monangai with very little time for Wimsatt to go for 6 total touchdowns and lead Rutgers to a 10-2 regular season with this 45-35 road win. Rutgers at 10-2 was not enough to make a conference title, as it would be Penn State against Iowa. Gavin Wimsatt ended his season with 3,400 plus yards, 34 TDs, and 11 picks while rushing for 6 touchdowns. Cody James ran for 1,450 and 17 scores himself. Monopoly Man Jones was the leading receiver on the team, and he had 11 touchdowns. Grabass and Snags had 8 TDs apiece. Wesley Bailey led the team with 7 sacks, and Sir Panda was the team's ball hawk with 5 picks. The Heisman was won by Ohio State's running back Travion Henderson, who barely beat Penn State's QB Christian Ballou. Our only first-team All-NCAA players were middle linebacker Tareem Powell and corner Sir Panda. Second team would include running back Cody James, who was also on the all-freshman team with wide receiver Professor Grabass and corner Leon Adams. James had votes for the Maxwell. He would come in 8th. He would come in 6th for the Walter Camp Award. Tareem Powell ended up winning the Bednarik Award, and he was 2nd for the Nagurski. Gavin Wimsatt came in 5th for the O'Brien Award. James came in 4th for the Walker. Monopoly Man was in 7th place for the Biletnikoff. Bailey would win the Lombardi Award. Howell would win the Butkus Award, and Panda won the Thorpe. Appleby was in the running for the Ray Guy, while Snags came in 3rd for the Jet Rogers Return Man. The playoffs were set as Penn State won the Big Ten. Oregon would upset USC 27-13 behind Thompson's 3 touchdown passes, and Syracuse would upset Penn State late with a 3-yard run from Price. That set up a Syracuse versus Oregon natty in the Bayou. Syracuse beat them up 35-18 with Sean Tucker rushing for a score and receiving one. Rutgers was in the Fiesta Bowl against Southern Miss, and Cody James snuck it in from short yardage for a Scarlet Knight early lead. However, Southern Miss quarterback Trey Lowe found the end zone himself to give the Eagles a lead back, and then he finds Robinson into Rutgers territory for them to add 3 and take a 13-7 lead into the tunnel. Rutgers would strike fast in the second half with another short Cody James tutty, and then later Wimsatt with more play extensions and a dangerous throw that ends up working to Grabass. Southern Miss wasn't laying down though, as Jacarius Caston got into the end zone, and then Chandler Pittman from Trey Lowe for the tying 2-point conversion. It was a tight game, and Gavin Wimsatt found Monopoly Man Jones, who dove inside the pylon for a leading score. The pressure was too much for Trey Lowe though, as he is intercepted by Kashawn Stort, and he is taken all the way back to the house as Rutgers would win their first bowl game of this series, and a New Year's Six bowl at that. 35-21 over Southern Miss. Gavin Wimsatt is the school's new passing yards in a season and passing touchdowns in a season record holder, and Monopoly Man Jones breaks Leonte Carew's receiving TD in a season record. Coach Alejandro Klink III really has this team trending up, but they aren't without their losses, as Tareem Powell was graduating and he was a big-time award winner. Doesn't help to lose a solid lineman like Pierce or the Lombardi Trophy winner in Bailey. Kashawn Stort slammed the door on the Fiesta Bowl, and Kyle Monangai was a solid backup who had 19 career touchdowns in 3 years. Rutgers did have an incoming transfer as freshman defensive tackle Tim Stokes wanted in on what we were building. Fail state indeed. The recruiting class was seemingly a little worse than the first, but we had a lot of guys who could really develop into nice starters in the next couple of seasons coming into the program. And the class was ranked number 7 in the nation, so I think we'll be okay. Our new schedule has Texas State coming in for our tune-up, but then it gets nasty with number 18 Oklahoma and the defending champion Syracuse Orange before rolling into Big Ten Conference play. Next year, Wimsatt should be at his best since he didn't go pro, James should be amazing in the backfield. The receiving core could go wild as everybody there could make a play at any time. The offensive line's going to be worse than we're used to, but Stinnett at right guard will anchor it. The defense is going to have a lot of new moving parts, so we'll see if we're as good on that side of the ball as we have been these first 2 seasons. Any prediction for next season? Leave me those in the comments section below. Can this team finally win a Big Ten title next year? Find out next time.